Hi guys. Okay, so something weird just happened to me. Like, something weird just happened to me. When I say trigger moments, I'm not gonna go into full details, but there's definitely a lesson behind it, a word behind it. Okay, God knows what He's doing. He knows what He's doing. So earlier today, I was talking to a young lady, and we were talking about the past. Like, her and I have a similar past, and we're talking about how in the past, like, you know, we so badly wanted husbands in the past. Like, oh God, I want my husband. Where's my husband? Da, 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 da. But in the past, we were not ready for our husbands. And I was telling her a little bit of like my story about like the position I was in the past, and some of the stuff that I went through. And I had to tell her, like, God had to check me, like, how dare you want your husband, but you're not even getting yourself together mentally, emotionally, spiritually, yada, 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 you know? And I'm going to go into details about that, okay? I'm going to tell you what I told her, okay? Before I tell you what I told her, I'm going to tell you what just happened. Oh, my gosh. So crazy. I was making dinner today. My son wanted curry chicken, right? So I'm here. I got all the chicken out. We got all the seasonings out. And then I realized I was out of curry. I'm like, man, I gotta go get curry powder. But there's a specific type of curry powder I use. I use this Jamaican curry powder, this specific brand. And it's very hard to find. Not all West Indian stores have it. So there's one West Indian store that had it, but it's all the way, probably like 20-minute drive from me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drive there. I drove there not realizing what time they closed, okay? And when I got there, like 5 minutes after I got there, 5 minutes before I got there, they closed. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, there has to be another Caribbean spot around here. So I found another Caribbean place. It's like an African Caribbean. But I wasn't sure if they had the curry powder that I wanted. So I'm like, you know what? It's only 6 minutes from me. I'm going to just drive there and see if they have it. When I tell you, I drove there, but I've never been there before. I had to look them up on Google. When I got there, oh my gosh, triggering, very triggering, because I'm like, wait, this area looks familiar. This place looks familiar, right? And oh my goodness, this place looks so familiar. And I'm like, this place looks familiar. So let me tell you something. In the past, I was this very nice girl in the past. Like, I was so trusting. I was just so naive. I was naive. I believed everything everyone would tell me. I was just naive. I had no discernment in the past. Let's just say that. No discernment. And I was the type of person that people took advantage of, okay? Because I was so naive. Because I wanted to believe everybody had a mentality like me. Like, everybody's just nice like me. And in the past, I remember there was guys in my life, but they were like friends. They were like friends. And I didn't know. They would tell me things like, oh, you know, I can help you go back to school. I can help you do this. I can help you do that. And a lot of them were like stealing money from me, okay? They were borrowing money. Oh, I'm going to help you save your money. Let me help you save your money. They were stealing money from me. I was naive and stupid. They would say things like, oh, I'm going to save your money for you. And I remember this person would take my money and he would use it on his things, like his place. And I wasn't the only one he did this to, but that was how he made his money. And he would like use it to build himself up. So I literally had no money to my name. Every time I got money, I was giving it to him. Every time I got a penny to my name, it was going to him. To the point where I had to ask him for money to feed my kids. I'm like, hey, can I get this much money to feed my kids? Da, 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 da. And he would tell me things like, oh, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to send you back to school. Da, 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 da. like my water is getting cut off and I had no money. I was stupid giving it to him, and it was almost like he was in control of a lot of my expenses. Like he was like in control of a lot of things. Like he made sure he would do things for me to say I owe him, and then take all my money. That's what he would do. Anytime I needed something, he would pay for it and then say I owe him. So I don't know how much he's took from me, but I know it was thousands. And there was times where I was, my heart's burning right now. There was times where I would, oh my God, my heart's burning. That was a triggering memory just now what I saw. But there was times where like I had no money to my name, and I would go to work, make money. He would take it from me, and then I would see him with other women that he said he was helping. Like he would use these women as examples. See, I helped this woman out too. I help her save her money, because I was bad with money. I would spend my money recklessly. He was like, I help her. She's in school. She's this. So he would use all these women that were well put together, that had things going for them, that were driving nice fancy cars, etc., etc. And he would make it seem like he was going to take me to that level. I just have to give him all my money. I just have to work and give him every paycheck, and he would flip it for me, do what he needs to do, flip it for me, make more money from it, and give it back to me. And he would never do that. And for some reason, I don't know why. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, you're stupid, because why did you keep giving him money? Because he was in control of a lot of things. And not only that, but he would do things for me, pay for things for me, and make it seem like I owed him, right? So, and on top of that, he would always bring up this, I care about you. If it wasn't for me, you would have been in serious trouble. I'm the one that helped you get a lawyer for this and that. Like, he would use these things to his advantage to like gaslight me. So I felt like, oh my gosh, I have to trust him. And then he would bring these women around and say, see, look, I'm taking care of this person, that person. Guys, this man was taking my money and he was like spending it on himself, and he was spending it on these women and other women. And I remember I used to see these women come around in a nice car. Like, he was literally taking care of them. And I wasn't the only girl he did this to. He did this to other women too. And when I saw the other women that were like me, they were struggling like me, but then he had like a group of women that were living lavishly. So what this guy was doing, it's not just him, there was a bunch of them that were doing this. This is like a flex that was going on in Toronto, where they were using girls, using single moms, and would take money from single moms. They would first do things for the single moms to make it seem like, oh, I want to help you, I'm your friend. And then after they did that, they would gaslight us and make us think we owed them, so we think we'd owe them. And they would also say, oh, I'm going to flip the money for you, make you more money, etc., etc. And they would take from all the single moms, leave us looking bummy, leave us feeling bummy, and they would uplift the women that they thought were their preferences. So they would like spoil their preferences with bags, shoes, G-Wagons, and there was bags, shoes, G-Wagons, all this stuff. They would spoil their preferences, and then they would leave us bummy. So I remember one time I caught on, and I'm like, no, I want my money back. And he wouldn't give my money back. So I'm like, I'm done. I want nothing to do with you no more. I'm cutting ties, etc., etc. So when I cut ties, I'm like, so can I get back all the money that I gave you? Because I know I gave you back more money than what you said you helped me with. You get what I'm saying? And the man was like, FUB. He said FUB and cut me off like that. So I was stuck. No money for my kids, no food, no nothing, right? And then I had to go hustle again, all over again. And there was a lot of people involved in this. So this was like a flex that was going on, because a lot of these men, like, they knew that we were naive, and they knew that, and I'm speaking like there's other women involved, and this guy had other friends that were involved, like other men that were doing the same thing as him, and they all did it they were all like a group of men doing it. But I remember meeting other girls that were treated the same way, that were in my position as well. But they would lie. Like they it's almost like they knew we were good women, and they knew that we wanted love, we wanted, you know what I mean? So it's almost like I remember like the guys they would each like lie to the girls and be like, oh, you know, we'll have a future. They'll say things, we'll have a future together, or I'll help you with this. So it's like we start romancing. What's the word called? Romanticizing, or whatever the word is called. So a lot of them would make it seem like they wanted relationships and a future, and all you have to do is give me all your money, I'll flip it for you, and we'll build together. Because we were the type of women, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm the type of girl like I don't mind helping my boyfriend or helping whoever I'm with. So when someone says, hey, like, we'll work together, I'll flip it, make more money from your money, I'm thinking, okay, we're working together as a team. Didn't know that he was taking my money and, you know, putting it towards his own lifestyle and giving his friends cuts out of it. And his friend, they were all working together. So when I finally I cut ties, I asked for my money back. He didn't want to give my money back. And I remember that was one of the most like craziest moments of my life. It was like, I remember just looking out my window and I'm just like, what the frig? Like, and he tried to gaslight me because when I told him I'm done, I'm cutting ties, he pulled up in a G-Wagon. And then his friend came with him and pulled up in a a Porsche. And it's like he was trying to bribe me. And I'm like, do you think this stuff, like, do you think I care about this stuff? I don't care about this stuff. I'm serious. I'm done. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm done. I'm not working with you. I'm not giving you my money no more. Woo. So I just can't believe how everything was put together. I remember when that happened, I met this other person and he was like, oh, I'm gonna help you. You know, I told him what happened and he was acting like he was gonna help me. He's like, I'm gonna help you and and then he tricked me into like 7K. Like, he tricked me and he's like, okay, I need 7K from you to borrow. I'm gonna help you make your money back. I just need 7K and all that. I can put you in a better position. I gave him I was an idiot, guys. I was such an idiot. I gave him all my money and he ran off my money too. So I had people running off with my money so many times and leaving me with nothing. Literally leaving me with nothing. There was another time when someone did the same thing. I can't tell you how much times I've been scammed, okay? How much times I've been scammed. But one thing that I noticed is that I was in an area that triggered me, because around the time that situation happened, I remember I met the same person that I met that said he was going to help me. He lived in this area that I just went to. Like, he worked in this area that I went to just now to get my curry powder. And I just like, this area looks familiar. And then it just triggered me. But it triggered me not in a bad way. It triggered me in a good way, because I was able to reflect on where I was compared to where I am today. And then it reminded me of the conversation I had with the young lady earlier. And the conversation I had with her was, I was telling her that when it comes to us, children of God, and I know this is for men too, but I was speaking to her from more of like a lady's point of view. And I was telling her, when it comes to us, like daughters of God, children of God, his daughters, yes, as much as he wants a man to provide for us, he really wants us to have our own as well. So we're not depending on a man. So we're not reliable on a man. He wants to give his daughters everything we deserve, because especially we've been through a lot. And I was telling her basically that back in the day, the position that I was in and she was in, we were not ready for husbands. We didn't even love ourselves. This is why we went through what we went through. We didn't love ourselves. And I remember telling her that I was telling her that I had no money in my account. I remember I had to pick between coffee and the bus. I'm like, okay, if I take the bus, I can't buy coffee. You know, if I buy coffee, I can't take the bus. So what should I do? Okay, I'm gonna buy coffee and I'm gonna use an old ticket to get on the bus. Hopefully I don't get caught on the bus and get a fine for it. And I remember that time I was telling her the story, and I was telling her how I did that because I had to go to work, right? But I wanted coffee so badly because I didn't have anything to eat. And I remember that day that I did that was the day I got caught, and I had to pay a fine I think it was like a $70, $80, $90 fine for that. I was basically telling her that to let her know like how bad of a position I was in. I even told her that I was in such a bad position, like I only had like 2 pairs of outfits. I even told her like the first date I went out with my kingdom husband, I told her like I had $100 to my name, and I told her that I had $100 to my name. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. I had $100 to my name, and you know, I had to buy a shirt for my date, and I had to buy a little bag for my date, shoes for my date, because I didn't have anything to wear. And this was shortly after all my money has been stolen from me. Okay, so this was like my $100, and I'm like, I really want to go on this date so bad. You know what I mean? I know it was irresponsible, but I was like, oh my gosh, when do I ever go on a date? I haven't been on a date in like a date ever, and I haven't been on a date with someone, and this is the first guy I actually really like in so long since that situation happened to me. You know, and you know, I didn't want to miss the opportunity, so I bought a shirt. I remember buying shoes. And I remember I told her when I went on a date, I only had $40 in my bank account. $40 in my bank account. And I offered to pay for dinner, and he said no. But I was telling her that I was hoping he said no because I only had $40 in my bank account. But I was telling her these stories to let her know, like, you know, where we were back then, we were not ready for husbands. It's almost like, why would you be... Look at the position you're in. You're not even in a position where you can take care of yourself. The last thing that should be on your mind is a husband. The first thing that should be on your mind is self-care, self-love, saving money, getting yourself your education, going back to school, doing what you have to do to get yourself in a position to where you can take care of yourself, to where you can uplift yourself, to where you can build yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually before focusing on a husband. You get what I'm saying? And I was telling her, look at where we came from to look at where we are today, and how God really wants his children, his daughters, to be independent in these areas. And it's not to say that we're so independent we don't need a man. No, but to be independent to where we love ourselves and can take care of ourselves, so we don't need our husband's finances. We have our own thing going on. Even though a husband is supposed to provide, God wants us to be in a position to where we don't need it. Do you see what I'm saying? And to where we can provide for ourselves, like the Proverbs 31 woman. I told her where we were back in the day, her and I was talking about her and I, like we came from the same situation, like where we didn't have anything. I was telling her where we were back in the day, we were not Proverbs 31 status women. We didn't even know how to take care. We didn't even love ourselves. You know, I told her a Proverbs 31 woman is doing a lot of things. She's making her own income. She's running charities. She's a very busy woman. I'm like, even if you don't have a job or you're not making any income, you need to at least be doing something, even if it's charity work. You see what I'm saying? You need to have something to show for when it comes to your purpose here on earth, even if it's just charity work. It doesn't mean you have to have a lot of money and rich. You just have to be doing something to better yourself in this lifetime, right? So I was telling her this, that mentally we were not ready. We were not ready. You know, but the reason I'm telling you guys is because I wanted to share that with you. And I also wanted to share with you about if you've been in a situation like that where you've been like mistreated, robbed, stolen from. Like I said about the whole cornerstone situation, God really loves us, and he really wants us to have the best in life. He doesn't want us to go through what we went through in the past. And I was telling her, God sees us as his princesses. Like, he wants the best for us, and he wants us because we deserve it, right? And you know, I say this to say also, if you know, women, like, if you know that mentally you're not all the way there, you're not working on your purpose. Work on your purpose before you start to pressure God into bringing your husband in. You have to be operating through purpose. Yes, you can operate through purpose with your husband, but like I said, you need to operate in purpose before your husband comes in as well, because you need to build you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Ask God what it is he needs you to do, where he needs to bring you. So when your husband comes in, you're already operating through purpose. You're already taking care of yourself. You're already doing the things that God wants you to do. Do you see what I'm saying? And he comes in and he sees you as his Proverbs 31. He doesn't come in and says, oh, I got to mold you into a Proverbs 31. No, he comes in and sees you as a Proverbs 31. Okay? You're already there. You see what I'm saying? Another reason why I wanted to share this too was to show you that I remember it's not just those situations, but I remember God telling me one time, one day, everything that people have stole from you and have used to better their lives and to use to better the lives of others, you are going to have more, and you are going to have. So when that happened to me in the past, where I was rejected and I was lied to, I was stolen from multiple times, and the money that was stolen from me was used to take care of other people. Today, I speak in today, God has blessed me with every single thing that was taken from me. He has blessed me with that and more. Okay? I say this to tell you that no matter what your past is like, no matter what you go through, God is good and God is faithful, right? And God sees every single thing that happens to you. He knows every single thing that was taken from you, and he is restoring every single thing that is taken from you. If he did it for me, he's going to do it for you. Faith is so important. I can't even stress to you how important faith is. Because throughout all of that, I had faith. My darkest days, I had faith. I had to watch women drive around in nice cars, live this lifestyle, and be taken care of with the money I earned. And I just want to say that God sees everything, and he best believe he will restore you. If you've been through some crazy stuff, he will restore you. Because I know a lot of y'all been through some things like that where people have stolen from you and mistreated you and all that. But it was just crazy how I saw the vision of the cornerstone today, and I'm looking up at the cornerstone, and I think that resonates with me too, that message. But there's two messages in this message. Like I said, everything that was taken from you will be restored. Faith is required. And not only that, but this is another thing I told her. So I was telling her also, similar to what I just said to you, how back in the day when I would see that these women were taken care of in that way, I thought it was their money. I thought they were taking care of themselves, not realizing that it was men taking care of them in this way. And I was telling her how when God restored me, I then realized that it wasn't them taking care of themselves. It was them receiving income from men taking care of them. And God was using me to help me take care of myself. You see what I'm saying? So I was using that as an example to show her why it's important to depend on yourself, and why it's important to be patient with God and to work on yourself before even requesting your husband to come in. Because when he comes in and sees that you're taking care of yourself, it's a lot more, it shows a lot more value than someone that's just sitting there waiting for a man to come in and take care of them, but they're not really doing anything with themselves. So it's best to just focus on God's purpose for your life before requesting it. And also, you don't want to idolize marriage. You want to be able to once you start walking on the path and you start putting faith first and God first, he will bring everything in. Okay. Whew. Yeah, so I was by the area where someone worked, and I remember I just had went through all that when I met this other person who said they were going to help me and stole from me. So it brought back triggers, but it reminded me of the conversation I had with her. And on top of that, it reminded me of how blessed I am, how God has restored every single thing that people have taken from me and more, you know. So I wanted to use that to share that with you guys, to show you how good God is, and why you should continue to have faith, and why you should strive and do what he needs you to do first before focusing on someone else coming in, because you got to take care of you first before you're able to partner with someone. Okay, partner with someone as in marriage. Okay, anyways, love you guys. Bye.